Each of these teams produced one great half and one poor half, and all kind of evened out in the end. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Wales, early on in this one, they got themselves caught offside. They were under a lot of pressure in defence early on, actually in the entire pretty much first half. Penalty to Scotland. Russell strokes it over for 3-0. Scotland with a deserved lead. They then continue to apply that pressure to Wales. They go close, but Wales managed to win a penalty to clear. Richie Grado nicks the line out, and Scotland can build again and come back into that Welsh 22. They work it close to the line. First of all, some decent interplay with the backs, and then the forwards carrying in the tight, and then Skuman picks it up, a couple of meters out, and manages to just about duck under, 3 or 4 Welsh tacklers and stretch out and ground on the line underneath the posts. Converted by Russell, 10-0. Scotland in complete control at this stage, and it just continued. Wales, they did have a period in the Scotland half, but then Finn Russell kicks an absolute beauty for 50-22. Josh Adams throws the ball into the crowd to basically stop them going quickly from the line out. He gets a warning. Well, Scotland get a warning actually, Wales get a warning. It's a penalty to Scotland, and Russell goes to the post. He makes it 13-0 from the tee. Scotland then just completely open up Wales. There's some decent interplay that gets them on the front foot. Then a nice pass out to the back to Russell. He sells a dummy to Costello and puts Duhan Vandermeer over to score. Russell converts for 20 points to 0. Then Russell, he's amazing, but you've got to take kind of the rough with the smooth, and there's a bit of rough here where he puts in a cross kick in his own 22, and nobody really on the same wavelength, and it leads to a chance for Wales, and better hands, and they may have actually got over to score after basically the ball pinged around a bit. Rowe tried an attempted clearance that was charged down. Wales get their hand on the ball, but then they can't quite hold on to it to actually get over to score. We then have a Timo check for a clear out by I think it was Richie. Just head contact in Costello, but referee rules there's no foul play because of the height of the players involved. We then have a scrum penalty that gives Wales a chance to go to the corner, but their line out has been poor for most of the first half, and it's poor again here. They overthrow this one. Scotland are able to clear. Reffel then gets over the ball for another penalty chance. Lloyd though misses touch. He's on now for Costello, who went for an HIA, and it's obviously not good that Costello had to go off, but Lloyd coming on was part of kind of the spark that really brought Wales back into the game. But halftime score was 20 points to 0. At the beginning of the second half, then Wales, they tried to get a foothold in the game. We have a loose kick. It's run back by Scotland, and to get the ball into Vandermeer's hands, he breaks up the middle, backs himself to just glide around the cover and go over to score his second try. Russell converts for 27-0, and right now you're thinking like it's game over. It's only a matter of time before Scotland get their bonus point try, and I'd imagine a lot of kind of pundits were reaching for the record books about Scotland's biggest win in Cardiff, but then Wales, they win a penalty in the 22. They go to the corner. The line-out works this time. They had a couple of decent line-outs actually back to back. This is the second decent line-out in that second half. The maul going forward, Scotland can't hold them out, and they go over. Turner gets a yellow card for his efforts in trying to stop that as well. Both of them miss the score. Lloyd misses the conversion, and it's 20 points to 5. Wales then win another scrum penalty. That was an area that really went well for Wales in the game, and especially with a lot of kind of young front rowers in that team. That's really positive thing for them to take out of this. They go to the corner. They win another penalty as Scotland take the man in the air on the line out. Wales then decide to tap it. They make a complete mess of it and almost actually lose the ball. Do pretty well to actually hold on to it. Then they recycle it, they get themselves kind of composed a little bit more, and then just a lovely wide pass from Tomas Williams, and that puts it on the plate for Rio Dyer, who finishes in the corner, and really well recovered by Wales there to create that try, converted for 27 points to 12. And already I'm thinking, if Wales score again, it really is game on here, because we've seen Scotland before. It's just that mental thing that we talked about with, not just this Scotland team, but also, the Glasgow and Edinburgh as well, that, there seems to be like a little bit of kind of mental brittleness about them, and when the pressure comes on, you get to see that. And it's one of those things where once a team are able to come through a situation, you build that in your bank for the future, and hopefully for this Scotland team that they can actually get kind of a run of kind of performances where they're put under pressure and they can actually respond and go again. But on here then, we have another penalty to Wales on the edge of the 22. Scotland, they get a warning for the volume of penalties that are given away. Wales kick it to the corner. They line out, then they maul it. The maul is halted in the corner. Wales manage to get the ball out, and they're pounding away at that line. They can't get over, but we come back for the penalty, and Tuipulotu gets a yellow card after that warning. Wales, they tap it, they go quickly, they suck in some defenders, then Wainwright goes over next to the post to score. Lloyd converts, and it's 27-19, and it's all Wales at this point, and Scotland really creaking. Dyer then breaks down the left wing. He did really well. It's just Maisie runner coming back to beat players as well. But there was nobody, there were players in support, but they were there and they were kind of standing still. There's no kind of momentum coming on to him. It felt like if somebody had picked, a decent hard line to run off, his shoulder, they were going to get over to score. But Scotland managed to contain them on the attack, but they were actually tackling on the ground earlier on in the move, so it was a penalty to Wales. Wales go to the corner, they claim the line out, and the maul drives close. Then Mann breaks off and he gets over to score, and it's a try bonus point for Wales. And who would have thought that was going to happen at half time? Lloyd then converts. It's 27-26. It's a 1 point game, and you think if you're a Scotland fan, you must be hiding behind the couch at this point, watching this game, because you must be thinking, oh God, what's going to happen? Are they going to completely blow this when it looked like they had it in the bag? Scotland, they do then have a period of possession and a chance to kind of steady the ship, but Russell then tries a grubber through, it gets blocked, and then they get isolated. Wales win a penalty. Wales go up the line, but then their line out malfunctions, and again Scotland are able to clear, but then Scotland's line out goes awry and Wales have possession back. And it feels like at this stage, two teams, they both had really great periods in the game, and now it's who actually wants to win the game? There's just little mistake going in there, and there's no real momentum going in one way or the other now, it feels like. And we have from here, Lloyd then puts in a forward pass, and Scotland, they get possession back from a scrum. There's only a few minutes left in the game, about 3 minutes left when we first set the scrum, and by the time the ball comes out, it's down to the last minute or something, because there's a bunch of resets. But off that scrum, then Scotland do attack. Probably they're since the Van der Merwe try, really, that wonder try that he scored, it's probably the best break and probably the only break that I can remember that they've had, really. But they break into that 22, they work it close up to the line, and it felt like, if they could just be a little bit more patient, and because there was space there for them to exploit, but they were just kind of making a few wrong decisions. Scotland, though, they are looking for the bonus point try at this stage. Van der Merwe, then he goes for the line when maybe it would have been better to kind of recycle and just identify where that space was, maybe even try like a cross kick or something, or if you're afraid of that being intercepted, at least just keep it, get your forwards there and try and drive over. But he goes for the line himself, and we have a TMO review. On-field decision is it's no try, and the officials on the field felt that it was grounded on a foot, and then we can see in the replays it is indeed grounded on Dyer's foot, and that's no try. It's now time up. It's 27-26. Scotland win just about, but it almost feels like a loss, or looking at it, because Wales were the team with all the momentum at the end. But listen, if Scotland go on to do something special and win the title this year, they won't care about that they won this one by 1 point. Very often in this tournament you see a team that like just about scrape by somebody, and that's the moment where it really gives them that kind of belief and momentum to go on and potentially win the title. And that may be where Scotland are. It could be that they go out now against France and just get completely shown up, because France are going to be really G'd up after losing to Ireland the way they did. But who knows? Scotland at the moment, all they care about is the fact that they have that win, and it means whatever kind of whatever you think about relative strength between teams so far, like if you're winning your games, then you're in with a shot at a title, and it's going to take the likes of Ireland, England, and France, who at the moment look like the contenders for the title until we get later on, and with two are going to emerge at some point. It's going to take them to deny Scotland that. So until they start doing that, until really a team has lost 2 games, I think in this tournament, if they're at least among the kind of likely candidates, you can't really count them out. So Scotland, an amazing win there. We're going to have a look at some of the stats, and then we'll come back and talk about the performances as well. So we're going to start with so possession was 54% Wales, 46% for Scotland, but in the 2 halves it must have been like, it almost feels like it was like almost all of Wales' possession was the second half, and all of Scotland's was the first half, and territory kind of the same as well. Territory was 55-45 in favour of Wales. Then if we look at the try scored, 4-3 for Wales, so Wales got that crucial bonus point. 140 carries to 121 in favour of Wales. Wales is so much better when they weren't just kicking ball away, because the problem they had with their kicking, which kicking can be effective, we see it with a lot of teams. Scotland love to kick the ball too, but what Wales weren't doing was they weren't getting the chase right on the kicks. They weren't contesting for the ball either, so they're basically just kicking the ball to Scotland. So when they started to keep the ball in hand a little bit more, they got a bit more joy. You can see that meters carried 770 for them to 644 for Scotland, and then meters gained 454 to 386. So Wales, the better team with ball in hand, at least over the entire 80 minutes. It feels like we watched 2 games of rugby there. Like we saw a Scotland team just completely pulverize Wales for about whatever it was, 60 minutes, and then we saw a Wales team just take Scotland apart for the last kind of 25 minutes or so, or wherever it was, when they started scoring. So it's really weird looking at kind of the stats for the whole game, because it really was it wasn't back and forth at all. It was just one team on the up, then they go to crap, and then the other team is on the up. Line break sent 6-5 in favour of Wales. Defenders beaten 19-13. I felt like Rear Dyer beat a lot of defenders out there, but I don't know. I don't know whether it's like him looking for support or other players just taking that gamble and getting on there to support him. But it felt like a lot more could have been made from the breaks that he made as well. Passes then 189 to 136. Offloads 5 to 10. Scotland's offloads, when it was working in the first half, brilliant. In the second half, not so much. Handling errors then 12 to 4, just 4 for Scotland. But still they attack looked great in that first half and not so much in the second half. Turnovers conceded then 10 to 4. And it's strange because it felt like, again, in that first half, Wales are hanging in there just with getting turnovers, but they were the ones that were actually losing the turnovers for that. On to kicking then. Kicks in play, 33 for Wales, 38 for Scotland. 965 meters for Wales, which is a lot of kicking meters in a game, but it's dwarfed by Scotland. 1,248. We talked about before last year as well. Scotland and France, they're the ones that kick the most, even though people will always say that they're the most entertaining team and that kicking is boring. And then, 1 and 1 doesn't make 2 if you've got both of those opinions. So, this whole thing of, we need to reduce kicking and blah, blah, blah. You need to look at the way games are and why teams are kicking and what's actually happening from those kicks as well, rather than just blanket statements for stuff like that, I think. On to defence then. So, tackles 155 for Wales, 161 for Scotland. I'm pretty sure that Wales again made probably about 100 tackles in their first half, and Scotland probably did the same, 100 tackles in the second half. Just because of the way the game kind of seesawed. Missed tackles 13 to 19. Tackle percentage then 92 for Wales, which is really good. 89 for Scotland, which is decent as well. France yesterday 88%. Ireland down on 85. Although those teams probably have better scramble defense than either of these two. So, making sure that you have that first up tackles for these guys is really important, but you can't really fault the effort from either one in this one. Discipline then, penalties conceded, just 4 from Wales, 16 from Scotland. That is just crazy. You see why Tuipulotu got that yellow card, because of the accumulation of penalties that conceded. That's just a massive number in a test match. We always kind of talk about, you want to stay in single digits and you want to be as low in single digits as you can. So Wales got that right today. Scotland just no from them, but they won the game. But also you have to think, other than even Italy are hard to kind of get a read on at the moment, but you have to think, if Scotland conceded 16 penalties against the other 3 teams in the tournament, being England, Ireland and France, if they concede that many penalties, then they're probably definitely going to lose the game. Then onto the breakdown. So Rooks won 110 to 92. Rooks lost 0 to 4, and those 4 that Scotland lost, almost certainly Tommy Reffel was in there. That guy was just immense for Wales today. On to set piece then. Scrums, 3 scrums to 4-1, 2 lost by Scotland, none by Wales. I thought the Wales, the starting props and their replacements as well, did really well for them and kind of gave them, something there to kind of, some kind of foundation for them when everything else is going against them. The scrum was going well, at least. Lineouts then, 14, 1 to 4. So Scotland not having that many lineouts, and then lineouts lost 6 for Wales, 2 for Scotland. So, although Scotland didn't have that many, still only a 66% return is not great. But Wales losing 6 lineouts, and some of them were very crucial times. And you have to think that if they've gotten some of their lineouts right in that first half and not been so far behind, that comeback might have been enough to put them actually over the top and get the win. Lineout steals then, 2 from Wales, 3 from Scotland. I think Richie Gray had a really good time for Scotland disrupting that Wales lineout. So it wasn't all about just Wales's problems in the lineout. the likes of Gray and the other jumpers in the Scotland line as well were causing some of those problems for them. On to then just kicks at goal. So penalty kicks, 2 for Scotland. Then conversions, 3 each. Missed conversions, there was just that one from Johan Lloyd, which, people would say, oh, if you had got that kick, then Wales would have won. But I've talked about this before. I don't believe in this whole thing of if somebody missed a kick, if somebody missed a kick with like whatever it was, 30 minutes to go in the game, and then he suddenly is you change it and he's gotten it, and then you think that the entire rest of the game is going to play exactly the same. It's not, because obviously the scoreline is going to be different for starters, which means that the way teams are looking at whether they're deciding to kick for goal or to go to the corner, etc., completely changes, and it completely changes like the coach's mindset as well, in terms of when players are going to come on, and just everything changes after that. So you can't just say like if you had got that kick, we wouldn't have won the game. The only time that is I think relevant is if it's the final kick of the game, and whether if like only at that time can you really say, because obviously if he does get the kick, then there's no more time to play, so nothing else is going to change. But other than that, I don't think his kick cost Wales the game, honestly, on that. But this is a weird one coming out of this, because Scotland have to be happy with the win. They've got to be very concerned though about that second half performance and the way that Wales were able to just rip the momentum away from them, and then put them under massive pressure, find a lot of space as well, against the defence when they had ball in hand, blunt the Scotland attack as well. But then they have to take so much positive from that first half where they were completely on top, they were controlling things. It was strange not to see actually Ben Healy come on at some point, because I was talking about in the preview, I thought maybe where's he going to come on, because you're probably not going to take Finn Russell off. But that's we've seen a lot of teams have struggled with that kind of thing of a star 10 who can't be taken off, and especially if he's the captain as well, that what's the point then of a 10 option on the bench other than for injuries? Like Healy's got a completely different game to Russell, but there was times in that kind of second half where they were under the pump, it felt like a Healy type 10 to get those kicks in, kick for territory, get his team in the right position on the field, might have been really good. But do you take that chance of losing like that just magic spark that Russell could get you? Maybe he's going to set up that bonus point try, and so it's a really hard decision to make. But at some point in a game like this, that decision has to be made, and whether that's a case of you bring Healy on somewhere else in the back line, maybe stick him at full back or something. I felt like you had to make that decision, because it wasn't by great planning really that Scotland ended up winning that game. It was just that Wales kind of just right at the end ran out of puff, I felt. But Wales, they've got to take a lot of heart from this. I'm sure a lot of people, when they were 27-0 down, were thinking like, well, this Wales team were terrible, and why did they bring Gatlin back, etc., etc. But this is a young Wales team. They're gonna take heart from this. A lot of these players are going to be a lot better having played in this game, in terms of just their mental approach to the test arena, and also things like confidence and just kind of cohesion as well in that team is going to be much better going forward. And it doesn't mean that they're going to suddenly start like knocking over big teams or whatever, but it is showing like some progress, especially from the first half to the second half. But whether Gatland is the man to actually take this group of youngsters forward and turn them into something more than just kind of an average Six Nations team, time is going to tell on that.